Three women dead, two major connections, and I've got it. I'll give you the first for free. The ex-boyfriends may have something to do with it. Gee, how often does that happen? Well, what's the second connection? Well, you'll have to wait. You'll have to wait and wait as I go along. This is Buffet's Bite Reloaded, and we are live starting right now. Well, as soon as my laptop will stop acting up, I can go ahead and get the intro. This is the day to do it, huh? And a good Sunday afternoon to you, everybody. Today is Sunday, October the 16th. It is a beautiful day here in the great city of Salem, Oregon. I am Ernest Bethea, the last outlaw, and today I have not one, but three stories for you. As I've hyped up all week, each story has pretty much the same two connections: the location and who's involved. Let me get started with case number one. Now, now, as I've already told you in the in both the hype part and in the advertising for this week's buy. Each story has pretty much the same two connections. One, where the location is, and two, who may be involved. And I'll begin with this. A Texas mom kidnapped and shot to death, and the authorities are searching for her ex-boyfriend in connection with her death. Lovely young lady, isn't she? Authorities in Texas, hint, hint, authorities in Texas are searching for a man they allege abducted his ex-girlfriend at gunpoint before she was found dead in her own SUV. On last Monday, Daniel Chacon, if I'm pronouncing his name right, age 30, fled following the alleged kidnapping of 38-year-old mom of four, Myra Gutierrez. And this is according to Pasadena Police Chief Josh Bruger in a press conference. According to Bruger, Gutierrez was visiting the couple's 5-month-old son at Chacon's Pasadena, Texas apartment when the incident began. As soon as you hear Pasadena, you would normally think California. Not in this case. Witnesses told police that they saw Chacon dragging a female into the vehicle with a gun in his hand. Authorities found the vehicle with Gutierrez's body inside, abandoned in southeast Houston that same day. Chacon has an active warrant out for his arrest. He's charged with aggravated kidnapping, and the district attorney is considering upgrading the charges. Bruger mentioned this at the press conference also. Police said that Chacon also has ties to Mexico. I'm confident that somebody knows where he is, Bruger told reporters. According to police, the ex-couple had a history of domestic violence. Officers responded to 2 calls of assault at Chacon's apartment in September. In addition to the 5-month-old boy, according to KHOU TV, shout out to you guys, Gutierrez leaves behind 3 more children, ages 19, 14, and 12. While the search for Chacon continues, a GoFundMe page has been launched to help offset funeral costs. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. An estimated 10 million people per year are physically abused by an intimate partner, according to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. Oh, no. If you, oh, shoot. If you are experiencing domestic violence, please call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or go to thehotline.org. As always, all calls are toll-free and confidential. The hotline is available 24/7 in more than 170 languages. As far as the case goes, and my opinion on this, I don't know what Daniel Chacon's deal was, but it must have been a crazy case of if I can't have her, no one can, or possibly a dispute over custody gone wrong. Either way, Daniel Chacon is out there. If you see him, please don't take the law in your own hands. Call authorities and let them handle it. Just remember the old adage: if you see something, say something. Next up, we have another case out of the great state of Texas. This one goes all the way back to 2019. A Texas woman was found dead and dismembered in 2019. Oh, hold on. I got a lot of comments coming. Oh, never you mind. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, back to business. A Texas woman was found dead and dismembered in 2019. Her ex-boyfriend was just recently arrested. The ex-boyfriend of a Texas woman whose body was found dismembered and dumped in a shallow ditch in 2019 has been arrested and accused of murder. This is according to People magazine. Carl Tates, age 61, is being held in the Madison County Detention Center on no bond on a murder charge, according to jail records. According to a criminal complaint out of Harris County, Texas, obtained by People magazine, Tates is accused of murdering his ex-girlfriend, Demetrius Lincoln, age 44, who was last heard from on August 16, 2019. According to the complaint, Lincoln filed multiple police charges alleging Tates had assaulted and threatened her during their relationship. Lincoln's mother and sister told police that shortly before her death, Lincoln had told Tates she had planned to end their relationship. And in response, Tates allegedly threatened to kill her. The complaint, citing Houston Police Department reports, says Lincoln had alleged to Houston officers that Tates had told her she would regret it if he ever found her with another man. That's another one of those "if I can't have you, no one can" situations. This is Carl Tates, ladies and gentlemen, just recently arrested. Authorities believe Tate strangled or suffocated Lincoln to death. They believe he subsequently drove to Louisiana and cut her limbs off before leaving her body, according to the complaint. The complaint also cites lab results that alleges Tate's DNA was found on the blanket that draped over Lincoln's body. The complaint states that Tate's has two prior convictions in Harris County. In 1995, he was convicted of burglary of a habitation, and in 2003, he was convicted of aggravated assault of a family member. It was not immediately clear if Tates has entered a plea or retained an attorney for the pending murder charge. According to a memorial page devoted to her, Lincoln had a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from the University of Houston and is survived by her mother, her sister, among other relatives. Again, ladies, this can't be stressed enough, and I believe this is going to be a running theme as I go to the next story. If you're experiencing domestic violence, you are pleaded to go to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Dial them up at 1-800-799-7233. 1-800-799-7233. Or go to the hotline.org. THEHOTLINE.org. The hotline.org. All calls are toll free and confidential. The hotline is available 24/7 in more than 170 languages. So no matter what language you speak, they have someone on the line waiting to talk to you. Now I got one more story left. before I start going onward to any missing persons cases or other crimes that's happened. And this one, surprisingly enough, is out of Texas too. An aspiring nurse, age 23, is killed by an ex in a murder suicide a month after ending the relationship. Look at this. It's crazy. An aspiring nurse was fatally shot inside her Texas home in what police say was a murder suicide at the hands of the victim's ex-boyfriend. The Harris County Sheriff's Office said Tamara Sawyer, age 23, was killed at about 3 o'clock p.m. on October 9th, shortly after her 22-year-old ex-boyfriend showed up at the home. According to the sheriff's office, he contacted her earlier that day and then showed up unannounced. Sawyer allowed him inside, and they were inside her room for 10 minutes when family members heard 3 gunshots, according to the sheriff's office. Family members went to the room and found Sawyer fatally shot. After several failed attempts to get the ex-boyfriend to drop his weapons, the family members went to retrieve a phone to call 911 and then heard another gunshot. That's according to a sheriff's office press release. They returned and found the ex-boyfriend deceased with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The sheriff's office said the two dated on and off since high school. Shout out to KHOU Channel 11 in Texas, and family members told this news station that they had split up 1 month earlier. Sawyer's current boyfriend was also inside the home at the time of the shooting. The sheriff's office said the ex-boyfriend, who has not been named by police, brought the gun with him. And according to news site Click to Houston, Sawyer was originally from Ohio and was studying nursing at Houston Community College. It has to be said one last time. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. An estimated 10 million people per year are physically abused by an intimate partner, according to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. Please, 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 I beg of you, ladies and gentlemen, don't be another statistic. If you or someone you love dearly are experiencing domestic violence, do not hesitate. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or go to thehotline.org. Again, all calls are toll-free and confidential. The hotline is available 24/7 in more than 170 languages. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and take this information down, and I'm going to set this on my scrolling ticker, because this is something that doesn't need to happen year after year after year. And there we go. And there you go. All right. So now you have that information down. Let's keep the Fierce Bite Reloaded going. We're gonna get in. We're going to dig in. We're going to hit YouTube up. we're going to hit the YouTube crime community and see what we have here. All right, we have a mystery of multiple human remains and 4 men missing. We're going to go to Darkness Exposed for that report.
Four bodies were found in the Deep Fork River. The discovery comes after days of searching for 4 missing men. Medical examiners in Tulsa are working to identify the remains.
Investigators with Okmulgee PD say they expect the bodies will be identified within the next few days. Now, police say someone called to report finding partially submerged remains in Deep Fork River near Sharp Road. Earlier this week, 4 men went missing in Okmulgee and have not been seen or heard from since Sunday night. Those men are Mark and Billy Chastain, Mike Sparks, and Alex Stevens. Investigators say they cannot say that the bodies found are the missing men, and that based on telephone data, the missing men went east, leaving town, and then south on 75, which is the opposite direction.
At around 13:49 hours this afternoon, dispatch received a report of suspicious items in the river in the area of the bridge that goes across Sharp Road, which is located southwest of Okmulgee. Officers responded and discovered what appears to be multiple human remains in the river. Multiple agencies are responding and will work to begin the recovery process. This process will take time, and currently we have more questions than answers. The families of Mark Chastain, Billy Chastain, Mike Sparks, and Alex Stevens have been notified of the discovery. At this time, we cannot make an identification, but out of respect, we let the families know before it was officially announced. If it turns out that these 4 missing men are the remains in the river, then the focus of our investigation will shift from finding them to what happened to them. If it is determined it is not them, then we will have a separate investigation. That is the conclusion of my statement, and I'll answer questions if you have any.
How many, how much remain found?
I can tell you that there are multiple, but I can't see everything, and all of it is in the river itself. So until we have searched the entire area and got everything that we can see out and made sure there's nothing else, I can't give you a definitive answer. But there are multiple objects in the water that appear to be human remains.
Like bodies or parts?
Well, I can't see everything. There is definitely what appears to be body parts protruding from the water. I can't tell you what's under the water.
Are they in a vehicle or?
No.
And do we have a team out there right now trying to retrieve those?
There are multiple agencies on scene right now that will begin by documenting the scene by aerial footage. Then they will photograph the scene. They will approach each object individually, photograph it close up, and then start the recovery process.
And are those agencies LSPI, FBI?
The District 25 Violent Crime Task Force is on the scene and is leading the investigation. And 8 officers from the Okmulgee Police Department, Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office, and the District Attorney's Office, as well as some officers from Light Horse Police are out there. OSBI has provided 2 crime scene agents, and the medical examiner's forensic anthropologist is on their way and may be on scene by now.
And how are these parts discovered?
I beg your pardon?
How are these parts
A passerby saw something that looked suspicious in the water and called dispatch.
Is this in any way related to any of the locations that believed that they had previously been missing?
I am not aware of this particular location being mentioned by family. There were multiple locations that the family did mention. I'm not aware of this being.
Any injuries visible on the remains?
I can't tell.
And it was just a passerby that indicated these might be human remains?
I have not talked to that individual. My understanding is the passerby saw something in the water that he thought was suspicious and felt compelled to report it.
So as of right now, the bodies have not yet been recovered from the body of water?
No, they are still in the river. And they will be in the river for some time. It'll take some time to do the recovery. We have to be very, very meticulous.
Do we know if the passerby happened to know any of the family members or potentially the people whose remains might belong to?
I don't know. I don't have an answer to that question.
You've said this entire time, you don't say there's foul play involved until you have evidence. Is this evidence of foul play?
This is what I would call evidence that there's potentially foul play involved. But I need to be clear. We don't know that this is our missing men yet. So, you know, I want to make sure that I'm clear about that. Until we do, I can't tell you that they met with foul play.
Are the remains in close proximity to one another?
Probably a maximum of 75 yards total.
And I know you said it was hard for you to see everything, but does it seem like it's multiple people remains? More than one person?
Yes.
Are they close?
It's hard to tell. I think so.
Does it seem like 4 people to you?
I can't see enough of it to tell you for sure.
Any sign of the bicycles or the men were last seen?
I was out there for a fair length of time. I did not see any bicycles.
Before this discovery, did you all find anything on the surveillance footage you were going through today?
We've been going through surveillance video for multiple days, and as I'm sure you already know, it's a very, very tedious process. And we did not find any images of our missing men on any of the surveillance we've gone through up to now.
Was this an area that you guys were considering searching prior to this?
All of the information that we had up to this point indicated that our missing men, based on telephone data, had gone east, leaving town, and then ultimately south on 75. This is in the opposite direction. So no, we never considered this as a search area.
And are the bodies, can you tell if there's any trauma in the sense of either just lying there or ag or anything that would denote somebody might have done, put there?
I can't see any bags, but you have to understand they're partially submerged in the river. You can see portions of what appears to be a body. And again, I want to be clear. Based on my training and experience, it looks like these are human bodies. Until I get people out to them, I can't 100% confirm that. And part of the reason for that is everything is partially submerged and you can't see very much of it. It looks like they're clothed, but I can't confirm that. And I don't see any evidence of a plastic bag, or any other type of bag. But, you know, I can't tell you definitively.
And since we haven't positively ID'd these bodies as our missing men, does the search continue for them, or is it suspended?
Well, I guess the best way to explain that is we would take leads as they come in and we follow them up. This is going to occupy a large portion of our time right now, which is going to slow us down. We're not stopping anything completely until we know that these men are found. But I have to dedicate resources to this. So some of my people that were involved in the review of video and whatnot will be doing this.
There has been speculation of reported sightings. Did we ever find out whether that was true or if they were really last seen from on Sunday?
The only thing that I can confirm definitively is that they were Mark Chastain was last spoken to on the phone shortly after 5 p.m. on Sunday. 4, possibly as many as 6 individuals left the residence, but the time that's stated by the neighbor is off based on the phone data. Beyond that, I can't confirm anything. We have had many reports of sightings. We haven't been able to confirm any of them. I had one today that was in Monroe, Louisiana. So
And when you say that they have left the residence, which residence have they lost?
there is a residence that is associated with Billy Chastain. He stayed there, but I don't know that he lived there full time. And it is on West 6th Street. They left that residence, presumably together. And that's all we know. Everything else, all the other information that we have that we can confirm is based on cell phone data. So I can tell you where Mark Chastain's cell phone went, but I can't tell you definitively whether he had it at the time.
And this is before
Yes, ma'am.
And you said possibly 6 individuals maybe left that house. Do you have any idea who the other 2 might be?
I can't tell you for sure that there were 6, and if there were, I have no idea who the other 2 would be.
And aside from the bodies, any other items near these remains?
Not that I can see and identify, no. There's some debris out there that you expect to find on the riverbank, but, beer cans and things like that. But I can't tell you if any of it is related.
And is it close to a road or bridge?
It is immediately adjacent to a bridge. The objects can be seen standing on the bridge.
Is there a diving team out there? I assume they're working pretty hard to preserve the evidence.
We have requested Oklahoma Highway Patrol's boat team to assist with recovery. I haven't been on scene since I sent the email out for this press conference, but I can tell you that based on what I saw out there, I don't think the river's deep enough to need a diver.
I just wondering why did you notify the family when you weren't able to identify if there are even bodies on?
The natural conclusion, once the information gets out on social media or announced to the news by the family, would be that their loved ones have been found deceased. And I didn't want them to hear that from the news. I wanted them to hear it from me. And I've made it clear to them that I cannot tell them definitively whether this is their loved ones.
How long will the team be out there working on this?
Until we're finished, I'd say sometime tomorrow.
And based on the locations of the remains, does it appear that they were thrown into the river from the bridge?
Anything I provide you with that would be pure speculation. I don't know.
You say until tomorrow, are they going to work with you tonight?
That decision will be made sometime tonight, and I think it will probably depend on how much available light and how much artificial light we can get to where we need it. Some of the objects are very close to the bridge, which should be not much of a challenge to get light to it. Others are further away, and the terrain's fairly rugged. I think that'd be pretty difficult. So if we have to suspend the recovery effort tonight, we will keep security personnel out there until tomorrow where we can restart the process.
When you mentioned that now you guys have a reason to believe there may be foul play, what leads you to believe that?
Well, the fact that I believe there are bodies in the river is the only reason at this point. Once I know the identity of those bodies, I'll have you affirm your answer. The road is closed for a long distance in both directions.
This has been a really long week for you guys. Can you just speak to what this development means for your department in this case?
Well, I'd like to say it means rest, but I think that's going to be a while. It does come with, I don't want to say relief, but it takes some of the pressure of finding these men, assuming that that's who we're talking about, off of us, so we can shift gears and find out what happened to them. If it's not them, then we're right back to square one, and we'll be operating 2 investigations at the same time.
Once the bodies are pulled from the river, how long do you think it would take the medical examiner to give you guys an ID?
I would defer to the medical examiner's office with that question, but I think that logically that will depend on what their workload is like and how difficult the process is going to be. They're usually pretty quick at it, though.
And just one more time, total of how many remains, how many bodies?
I don't know. I won't know till we get them all recovered. And once I have that information, I'll email out an update with as much as I can give you.
Now, having found them in a body of water, how you were mentioning earlier that you guys have to be very meticulous. Can you explain a little bit of why that is?
Well, we're meticulous at every crime scene, but when you have water, spotting evidence is much more difficult. So the evidence search process in the immediate area of any item of evidence that you do find, and in this case we're talking about human remains, you have to be extra meticulous. You have to go that extra step to make sure you don't miss anything.
Anything else that we didn't ask you that we would have to ask?
Oh, good Lord, I can't think of anything else.
What's your message to the family?
We're not giving up. If these are your loved ones, all we're doing is switching focus. And we're going to work just as hard to find out what happened to him as we did try and find him.
Benny Harjo, a family friend of 3 of the men, says he's still in complete disbelief the 4 men are missing.
It hurts a little bit, especially when I just seen them last week. And that's what hurts. I hope this ain't them, but it's looking like it might be.
Benny Harjo is a friend of 4 men who disappeared Sunday night. He pulled up to where police had Sharp Road blocked off after Friday afternoon's discovery. Mark Chastain, Billy Chastain, Mike Sparks, and Alex Stevens have been missing since Sunday. Police notified their families in case the remains belong to the missing men.
We have so many mixed emotions. We have no answers, no closure, no nothing. It's getting hopeless. I still have hope. It's getting hopeless. At this point, you know, whether they're dead or alive, I want to find them. We're heartbroken. We're sad. We're just, the unknown is what's getting us. Like, we need some type of closure.
Stay tuned for updates.
I don't really know what comes next. I'm just doing my best, even though I'm so stressed out.
And I want to thank Darkness Exposed for that press conference, and we'll be sure to keep tabs on this case as well as others that have been brought here to the Feds Bite Reloaded. Also, missing person cases goes that way as well. In fact, there's an update on the Stockton killer. Let's go to Darkness Exposed.
A new development from Stockton Police after months of unanswered questions.
Based on tips coming to the department's Stockton Crime Stoppers, were we able to zero in on a possible suspect. Our surveillance team followed this person while he was driving. We watched his patterns and determined he was on a mission to kill. He was out hunting. Arrested was Wesley Brownlee, 43, for homicide.
Stockton Chief of Police Stanley McFadden says he is sure his officers prevented another killing and that the suspect was carrying a firearm when taken into custody. Up until now, Stockton Police had been investigating a string of shootings suspected to be conducted by a possible serial killer. Federal officials joined the search when 7 shootings, 6 of them deadly, appear to be connected, spanning from April 2021 through September of this year.
The first known attack in April of last year in Oakland. Then, nearly 450 days later, a second person ambushed and shot dead on Kermit Lane in Stockton. That was July 8th of this year, followed by 4 people killed within just days of each other in August and September.
After reviewing video surveillance, investigators hunted the suspect stalled for weeks. The only lead was this image, capturing the back of someone authorities had identified as a person of interest. Police said the killer stalked victims as they walked alone after dark in poorly lit areas. 4 of the victims were homeless. Officials concerned they were targeted. Families of the victims aching for justice. Now, with at least one answer, but their loved ones forever taken from them.
Many of the residents that I spoke to today say that they are relieved that they no longer have to live in fear.
Thank God we don't have another serial killer on the loose.
For the past 2 weeks, the Stockton community lived in fear as the serial killer was on the loose.
Me and my kids, they want to go outside, but I just say no.
Now, a sigh of relief following an early morning arrest of a suspect police believe to be responsible for 6 murders. Stockton Mayor Kevin Lincoln saying today the killer will be held accountable.
We will use every resource at our disposal to make sure the people of our city
are protected. We went to the 4400 block of Manchester Avenue where Juan Cruz was murdered on September 21st. The killer's sixth victim.
That was scary, very scary. But I'm glad he's been caught.
Yeah. It makes me feel a whole lot better.
Roger lives just down the street from where Cruz was murdered. He says he's glad the police got to him first.
If he would have came anywhere in here, he would have been done. It would have been done. I mean, it doesn't matter. You know, it would have been done. We don't play stuff like that around here.
He says he wasn't ever afraid, but did worry for his elderly neighbors.
A lot of people are going to be safe or feel a lot safer than, him being loose.
I'm Stockton City Manager Harry Black. We are here to provide an update on the serial killing investigation. An arrest has been made, and Stockton Police Chief Stanley McFadden will provide more information to that effect. I would like to thank and commend the women and men of the Stockton Police Department. They have been working around the clock and have produced results. Their work exemplifies the best of police field operations and detective work. Also, I would like to thank our various task force member agencies for their assistance and resources in getting us to this point and beyond. The FBI, the ATF, the DEA, the U.S. Marshal Service, California Highway Patrol, and the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Department. Their assistance has been invaluable. A big thank you also must go out to the Stockton community for their help in getting us to this point. Stockton remains stocked and strong. At this time, you will hear from Chief McFadden, followed by Stockton Mayor Kevin Lincoln, and then San Joaquin County District Attorney Tori Verber Salazar.
Good afternoon. I'm Chief Stanley McFadden. I thank you all for being here today. It is very important for you all to be here. Before I go into details about the arrest, I want to thank the men and women of the Stockton Police Department and our law enforcement partners who have been involved with this investigation. It's a large group of law enforcement experts that really helped us to toe the line. It's the San Joaquin County District Attorney's Office, the San Joaquin County District Attorney's Bureau of Investigations, the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office, the San Joaquin County Probation Department, Lodi Police Department, Manteca Police Department, Lathrop Police Department, Tracy Police Department, Oakland Police Department, California Highway Patrol, California Department of Justice, California Department of Corrections, Chicago, Illinois Police Department, Federal Bureau of Investigation, ATF, and United States Marshals. I also want to thank our law enforcement families for supporting their loved ones who were dedicated and spent many hours away from home to investigate these homicides. To our task force team, all of you have worked tirelessly around the clock to make the arrest happen. Your effort was second to none, and I could not be any prouder of each of you than I am right now. To our detectives, my evidence technicians, my task force officers, my dispatchers, records personnel, and the district attorney's office, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Our work is not done though, as this is still a very active investigation. Now for the arrest details. Please remember, I can only provide limited information for the integrity of the investigation. Just because an arrest was made does not mean the investigation stops. We now have to have a successful prosecution for our victims and their families. For the last 2 days, I have met with our victims, their families. I can't go into our conversations, but our talks were very emotional. They want us to bring this person to justice. I'm honored to tell them and all of you that we have an all-star team of district attorneys and lead detectives who will bring justice for the families. The arrest happened in 2 parts. One was community tips, and the second was good old-fashioned police work. Based on tips coming to the department's Stockton Crime Stoppers, we were able to zero in on a possible suspect. Our surveillance team followed this person while he was driving. We watched his patterns and determined early this morning he was on a mission to kill. He was out hunting. He was stopped by our own team in the area of Village Green Drive and Winslow Avenue around 2 a.m. this morning. As officers made contact with him, he was wearing dark clothing and had a mask around his neck. He was also armed with a firearm when he was taken into custody. We are sure we stopped another killing. Arrested was Wesley Brownlee, 43, for homicide. The San Joaquin County District Attorney's Office will be reviewing this investigation and will file the appropriate charges. I want all you to know how seriously I take these types of investigations. This morning, when SWAT team was ordered to go out and conduct a search warrant at Mr. Wesley's residence, I went with them. Now, I would also like to thank each of you here, the media. Thank you. The news coverage, thank you for the social media stories, and thank you for keeping the victims' memories alive during your coverage. You and our community also played a part in this. We still need more tips to come in. If anyone has information about Wesley and this investigation, please get those to our investigators. At this time, I would like to bring up our own Mayor, Kevin Lincoln.
First and foremost, I want to thank you, Chief, for your leadership, for assembling the multi-agency task force, District Attorney's Office, all those who were involved to help get this community to where we're at today. We stood here just a couple of weeks ago, and we made it very clear to the public that these senseless acts of violence will not be tolerated. And that even though there wasn't any words that we could say that will bring back the lost loved ones, the least that we could do is do our part to help bring justice. And here we are today. As Chief said, there's a road ahead of us. We still have work to be done. But to the community, thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for stepping up. Thank you for exercising your voice. Thank you for submitting the hundreds of tips that have come in on a daily basis. This could not have been done, and today would not be made possible without you. But I want to make a special thank you to our brave men and women who are protected and have sworn to protect and serve this community. Your countless and tireless commitment and service to our community is one of the main reasons why we're here today. This community, this city, this Stockton Police Department is committed and dedicated to the people of this city. And public service, public safety still remains our number one priority. And I want to make this very, very clear to the people of Stockton, California, the United States, and around the world, that when the people of our city, Stockton, California, come together and we unite, we can get things done. Stockton will be a place where people can live, raise a family, and grow a business. This is a beautiful city. This is a city that each and every one of us call home. And we will not tolerate any acts of senseless violence. Those will be held accountable, and we will use every resource at our disposal to make sure the people of our city are protected and feel safe, and that no parent has to worry about taking their kids to a park, that nobody would have to worry about looking over their shoulder when they go to the grocery store, and that our unhoused population here in the city of Stockton will be able to rest a little bit easier tonight as we take the next steps towards getting them help and healing in their life. So to the people in blue, to our men and women who serve this community, thank you. To the residents of Stockton, thank you. To the media, thank you. God bless you, and God bless Stockton.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for being here. Before I begin the statement on behalf of the Office of the District Attorney, I'd like all of us to take a moment of silence for these victims. If you would join me. You know, the other day we saw an article in the paper that talked about serial killers in San Joaquin County. Some were not ours. They simply died at CDCR's facility in Stockton. But the few that were ours, they wanted to emphasize that they had come to our community. But what they missed was that they all had been arrested, successfully prosecuted, and removed from the street. And that's what happened here. So we wanted to thank our partners in law enforcement, Stockton Police Department, Chief McFadden, thank you, Catherine Nance, Stager, all of them who have worked, their detectives, officers on the street, who have worked so hard and dedicated themselves to ensuring the arrest and apprehension of this suspect. We've worked with fellow local, state, and federal agencies who assisted in the capture of this suspect, Wesley Brownlee. I want to thank District Attorney Ron Freitas-elect, Chief James Boyko from the Bureau of Investigations, and a marvelous team from my office, Supervising Deputy District Attorney Caitlin Casey, Deputy District Attorneys Janet Smith and Elton Grau, for their hard work and dedication, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, on this case and all the other cases that they handle. They're the most ethical, professional, hardworking people you can have the privilege of working with. The City of Stockton, all of their resources were made available during the course of this investigation. So thank you, City Manager. We appreciate that. ATF and our business community, our spiritual community. I couldn't go 5 feet in this community where people weren't saying prayers that we find this individual, and prayers for the survivors and families that have been so terribly harmed by these crimes. I want to thank all of them, also those who contributed to the reward amount. In conjunction with Stockton Police Department, the San Joaquin County District Attorney's Office is committed to ensuring the safety of our community. My administration has been working around the clock to providing any necessary resources that the Stockton Police Department would need during the course of this investigation into these tragic killings. My deputy district attorneys, who have been here all night, are reviewing the evidence as we speak, and they're working actively in partnership with the investigation to determine the charges that will proceed on. The defendant, because I'm no longer ever going to say his name again, because he doesn't deserve to have a name. He doesn't deserve to be out there. So the defendant is what we're going to call him from now on. The defendant will have charges, will be arraigned in court on Tuesday afternoon at 1:30. At that point, after the arraignment, we'll have a press conference announcing the charges and discussing those charges further with you. This is a very fluid and ongoing investigation. So we will most likely be adding charges, but at this time, we have to bring it before a magistrate within 48 hours. That clock's running now, so we have till Tuesday to bring them in. We'll arraign them at that time, and then we'll proceed to continue to assist with the investigation and also assist in healing our community. Our Family Justice Center, our doors are open, our victim witness services are available, and we're here to help. This crime was solved because we're Stocktonians. Because you don't come to our house and bring this kind of reign of terror and not mobilize 350,000 people, 780,000 in this whole entire county. Mobilized, and captured this individual who reign of terror is no longer. So I want to thank San Joaquin County, and particularly the city of Stockton, community members, activists, people in our faith-based community, businesses, our law enforcement, our prosecution, and now we'll be rolling into the court. Thank them all for this opportunity to really bring home justice for these victims. At this time, I believe we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, we'll take a few questions and we'll do our best to respond to the extent that we can respond.
From Stockton?
I'm sorry.
I too would like to thank all of our law enforcement partners, especially the brave men and women of the Stockton Police Department and the deputy district attorneys assigned to this case from the very beginning. Supervising Deputy District Attorney Caitlin Casey, Deputy District Attorney Elton Grau, and Deputy District Attorney Jan Smith. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families. And the suspect's reign of terror in our community has come to an end. As the incoming district attorney, I look forward to prosecuting him to the fullest extent of the law. Thank you.
I didn't want to say his name, but for us to get it right, can you please say and spell the suspect's name for us? And where is he from?
And does he have a prior criminal record?
Name is Wesley Brownlee. W-E-S-L-E-Y. Brownlee. B-R-O-W-N-L-E-E. Is 43 years old. And currently resides in Stockton.
Chief, you mentioned he was hunting. Are those words that came from the suspect?
No, those are not. Those are us watching his patterns and behavior.
Can you speak to the value of the new Facebook groups that have been working and mobilizing and doing all the presence effort to contribute to this investigation, and also how you see them play a role in continuing to secure additional tips and local curriculum?
I know my PIO, Joseph Silva, has partnered with him and has stayed in communication as far as information that's been going back and forth. But we're absolutely willing to have people. You know, it takes us all to solve these types of cases, and we're very happy to see a group of folks willing to come together and put a lot of time into it as well.
Chief, to the extent you can, could you walk us through the investigative steps that led the investigators this morning to this guy's car, and how, you know, what evidence we have to know that this is our guy?
I can tell you I have information that had got us to his place of residence. And at that point, we maintained eyes on that residence until he became mobile. Once he became mobile is when we started to continue to follow him until we eventually took him off, when we identified that he's posing a threat.
Do you know if this person suffers from any psychological condition?
That I do not know.
Does the police department have run-ins with him in the past?
I know he does have a criminal history. I'm not sure to what extent or with what agencies.
Can you speak to any possible motive?
That I don't know.
The firearm he used, is that firearm stolen? Does it belong to him?
That we don't know. Absolutely, it's a critical piece of evidence that will be processed.
Is he a long-term resident of Stockton, or has he been back and forth between those times?
I believe he has lived in different cities in addition to Stockton.
Do you know how long the search or kind of continues?
No, I don't.
Are you able to tell us any connection, whether his residence or otherwise, to the neighborhood in Stockton where a lot of these killings took place in, you know, near I-5 and Alvarez?
That I don't know specifically. I do know where he lived wasn't too far from one of our homicides.
He stayed with what?
He lives, yeah.
Are you able to speak to another transportation? A lot of theories have been speculated as to railroad vehicle, but obviously, can you speak to any of those details?
Well, all we know is he was mobile in the vehicle, and that's all we know. We know part of his pattern and praying is at some point to get on foot.
Can you describe people?
No.
Chief, you said that you followed him until you identified that he was posing a threat. What exactly, was that? What was he doing in that nation when he was on the hunt, on this mission?
Just his patterns were consistent with some of the patterns that we have seen. Were around parks, around dark places, stopping, looking around, moving again. And at that point, we thought, for the safety of the public, it was best to take this person off.
Police say at this point they do not know the motive, that the suspect in custody has a criminal history, and that the investigation is still ongoing. The suspect will be in court for his arraignment on Tuesday afternoon.
And again, once again, thanks
He was on a mission to kill.
Thanks to Darkness Exposed and to NBC News for the coverage of that that press conference out of the Stockton Police Department, the suspected serial killer in Stockton, California, has been caught, which means there are a lot of people who can breathe a little bit easier now. And pretty much that is it for Matthias Bite Reloaded. I want to thank everybody so much for your time, your patience, and I hope to do this again come next week, same time, same place. Let's get on it again. And I gotta remind you one more time about the month of October. October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Each year, there's more than 10 million people who suffer from domestic violence. It doesn't have to happen it doesn't have to happen again. It doesn't have to happen to you. If you or someone you love is a victim of domestic violence, don't wait for the attacker to come back and abuse you even further, or worse, leave you dead. We want you to get a hold of the National Domestic Violence Hotline. That number, once again, is 1-800-799-7233. 1-800-799-7233, or go to thehotline.org. All calls are toll-free and confidential. You can remain anonymous. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in more than 170 languages. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. I will be back here next time, so just keep it right here. Until then, you all know what to do. Bite this. Hey guys, this is The Last Outlaw. I want to take time and say thank you to all of you who watch and subscribe to Matthias Bite Reloaded. I've said it time and again, it is you who keep Matthias Bite reloaded and running. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Be sure to follow Matthias Bite Reloaded all over social media, including Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, the message forum at MatthiasBite.com, or via email at kingofhearts316_09@outlook.com. I will also tease upcoming editions on TikTok at King of Hearts 316 2021. This is the home for news, opinions, debates, your voice, and justice served. This is Matthias Bite, and it's reloaded.